I've been in the middle of the Missouri wilderness for several days now. I don't have much resources out here, it's mostly just grass and trees. However, I am not without possession. I have my desk to keep me entertained. A cup for drinking the lake water. I have a new television that I can plug in and play all the state-of-the-art games. Unfortunately, I only have a few. Honestly, I'm not sure how much longer I think I'll be able to go on. My sanity is slowly drifting, and if my new wall isn't built soon, I could die.
So I've been away for the past month, scavenging around the wilderness, trying to survive, when I came to a stunning realization. Oh shit, I haven't talked about something stupid in a while. So we're gonna ask our corporate robot overlords if there's something that happened last month that I can talk about. If not, I don't know, maybe I'll just talk about an old game or something. Hey Siri, what happened in the past month?
News for June of 2021. Someone on eBay tried selling an unopened copy of Mario 64 for $1.56 million. Manatees could be endangered soon. And E3 2021 happened from June 12th through June 15th.
Wait. Manatees?
Hey! What are you doing?
I'm trying to talk about manatees, but some asshole keeps interrupting me.
You better watch who you're talking to. This is my land.
What?
Yeah? Well, you got 3 seconds to get out of here. I'm gonna slaughter you like a cow.
Wait, but sir, my new wall isn't built yet. I don't have anywhere else to go.
You mean that house? That house has been there for over a month.
Oh.
So E3 happened this year. Let's fucking go. It didn't end up happening last year because some pesky little world events decided to happen, and they decided maybe it wouldn't be a very good idea to hold an event that's sort of known for having huge crowds of people. So it's been 2 years since the last one. E3 2019 honestly wasn't that great aside from Nintendo, but boy howdy was Nintendo's great. Plus they're my favorite company, so it wasn't too bad I guess, but I'm still a fan of these other guys, and Jesus Christ, they just didn't have much to offer. But the one guy who kept yelling at the Bethesda conference was pretty funny.
So here we are, new wall, which means we're back to the grid of talking about random stupid shit that no one cares about. And with E3 happening this year, that just gives me another random stupid thing that no one cares about to talk about. So, here are some of my hopes for this year's E3. Now, here's what I mean. I'm going to list off some things that I just want, not necessarily think are going to happen, but just things that I want. Some of them may happen, some of them may not, and some of them might be sort of reasonable, some of them might just be completely out there. So from Nintendo, I would like to see more info on like games that have already been announced, but we don't really know much about yet. Like the Breath of the Wild sequel or Metroid Prime 4, for example. A newer, more powerful Switch model I'm pretty certain is going to happen, but it's mostly just rumors. But it's like a heavy rumor thing, and Nintendo did say in their like announcement thing that it'll be focused on Nintendo Switch hardware, whatever that means. So, a new Smash Fighter, but I'm almost certain that's going to happen. I would like Waluigi, he's my most wanted newcomer, but I already know that's not going to happen because he was deconfirmed a long time ago. So, Rayman is my most wanted now. Will Rayman happen? I don't know, but that's what I want. However, these guys would be pretty cool too. Speaking of Rayman, Ubisoft. New Rayman game. That'd be nice of you. I'm literally dying for a new one. Rayman Legends and Origins were absolutely phenomenal games, and I really want to see new ones in the same era as that, or maybe even something new. Just something Rayman would be awesome. Microsoft, please just give us some sort of original exclusive game. Some sort of reason to actually buy Xbox. Who else is presenting, like, Capcom? Oh, I don't know which one of these this would be announced in, but for the love of God, Rockstar, GTA 6. It has been years. GTA 5 came out on the PS3 and it's coming out on the PS5 now. GTA 6, for the love of God. Alright, now let's just sit here at this desk for the next 3 days and wait for the mediocre presentations to just waft on in.
I should also point out that there is a lot of press conferences that go on here, but I'm only going to cover these ones because Sony and EA aren't even here this year, and if I talked about things like the Gearbox or God forbid the Verizon conference, we'd be here all day. So without further ado, let's start with Alright, so Ubisoft is first, and I'm not really looking forward to it, because Ubisoft isn't really my thing outside of, like, what, Rayman? I don't know. Alright, so after a bunch of semi-unnecessary small talk, a message from the LA mayor talking about how it's a gaming town.
What?
The entirety of LA, okay. It opens with what appears to be a new Rainbow Six game. It looks like you probably enjoy it as a Rainbow Six fan, but I'm not, so I don't really feel much excitement for it. Next, they showed off a new game called Rocksmith Plus, a new game in the Rocksmith series, which seems to just be like a regular guitar learning thing.
Wow, Ubisoft, thank you, but that looks like shit.
Next, we got a game called Riders Republic, and it actually looks pretty fun. One of those physics-based motorcycle snowboarding games, I think? I don't know what you'd call this, but it looks pretty dope. Next, there's an update to Rainbow Six Siege, and new Brawlhalla characters featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a Crew 2 update, and an update to Watch Dogs Bloodline. Nothing I really care about. Ooh, another Just Dance, like every year. This musician guy I've never heard of started talking about how his song is in the game. Okay. Next, they talked about an update and/or DLC to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Then they talk about their TV shows and movies, but nobody cares about them because that's not really what people came to watch the Ubisoft E3 for. After that nonsense, they showed a new trailer for Far Cry 6, but it didn't really show anything new. It was just a cutscene from the game. There wasn't really any gameplay. That's not to say it looks like a bad game or anything. It just wasn't anything new. Just random filler shit. After that, they showed off a sequel to Mario plus Rabbids. I never played the first one because the gameplay never really looked super appealing. Plus, Rabbids were always a bit annoying to me, but I'd still like to give it a shot at some point because it's certainly an interesting crossover. Plus, Ubisoft's models for the Mario characters always look so beautiful. I love how expressive and animated they are. They make them really well. Almost better than Nintendo in some cases. But this one also seems to be more focused on space and has some references to Mario Galaxy. And I do love me some Mario Galaxy. So overall, I might check this one out, but I'd like to check out the first one before I do, so it's not going to be an immediate buy kind of thing. Next up is just a bit about Ubisoft bragging about the power of video games or some stupid shit like that.
Okay, everyone, say it with me now. Filler!
Oh, whoa, it's an original IP? Oh, nope, it's Avatar. Yep, that's Avatar. Okay, so the game looked alright, but it's hard for me to get hyped for a game based on the Avatar movie, especially because I've never seen said movie. Next up, we got an Ubisoft Plus commercial. Still not paying for it, but thanks for asking. And that's it. Seriously, that presentation was so lame. So much of it was either
filler
or games that had already been announced. This isn't exclusive to Ubisoft by any means, but they did it a lot during this conference. Plus, I never liked how after a trailer there would be this little segment where they talk about how great it was. It's just mindless. Say it with me now.
Filler!
There was some fun new stuff, but not anything I'm just dying to get my hands on. So in general, that was just a bad press conference. Okay, next up was the Xbox/Bethesda press conference. They obviously merged the two conferences together this year due to the whole Microsoft buying out Bethesda thing. I actually have fairly high hopes for this one since they're merged together now. I'm sure they have something they're working on, right? Well, they open with
Todd Howard
talking about how it's Xbox's 20th year being around. Then they show off Starfield, which I believe is an already announced game, but we didn't know anything about it other than so I guess let's check out the trailer and see. Well, I guess that was a little more. They hyped this up to make it seem like they were going to show gameplay, but all we really saw was what appeared to be a cutscene from the game. But these graphics look really good, and the overall presentation seems really promising, so I'm going to leave this one with hopeful optimism. Next is Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. So I'm kind of mixed on this one, because on the story aspect, this game looks really interesting. A nuclear survival scenario in Chernobyl sounds way cool and looks really promising. But gameplay-wise, it doesn't really seem like anything that revolutionary. It just sort of looks like a generic first-person shooter, but at the same time there does seem to be some unique puzzle-solving mechanics, so I don't know. Maybe I just didn't see enough, but it looks pretty alright. I got my eye on this one. But also, this is a sequel, and I've never heard of the first game, so maybe I should check that out first. Back 4 Blood, a zombie survival first-person shooter. Actually looks alright. Don't really have much to say outside of that. Then a game called Contraband. Don't really know what you want me to say when you don't really show anything, but okay. Sea of Thieves got what appeared to be a free add-on of Pirates of the Caribbean. That's pretty neat, I guess. You're also able to play the entire mainline Yakuza saga with Game Pass now, plus Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've never messed around with Yakuza much before, so I might give them a shot on Game Pass now. A new Battlefield game? 12 minutes, a game pegged as an interactive thriller, and no gameplay shown whatsoever. What the fuck? Holy shit, a Psychonauts sequel! This is incredible, something I actually care about. The first Psychonauts game was so much fun. It had that classic late 90s, early 2000s 3D platforming charm to it, like Crash Bandicoot or Ratchet & Clank. And this one looks so phenomenal. The graphics are so well made and colorful, the gameplay and mechanics looks fun and unique. Not to mention all the characters are so expressive, it's great. Now it's time for Bethesda to shine. Let's see what they have in store. After some worthless talk, we start out with a couple add-ons for Fallout 76. Not really my thing, but I'm sure it's one guy's thing. Some add-on for Elder Scrolls Online, also not for me. Party Animals seems like an adorable little multiplayer game. I'm actually pretty intrigued. I might have to check it out. Remember that game Fall Guys that was popular for like a week last year? It kind of reminds me of that, and that game was fun, and this one does too, so I'm pretty optimistic. Hades looks pretty good, but these types of RPG strategy type games aren't really my thing, so I'll probably pass. Art style's pretty cool though. Somerville looks interesting too, but based on this trailer, I don't really know exactly what it is? It's kind of hard to tell exactly. Question: what's the first thing you think of when you think Xbox? Right, Forza. But also Halo, maybe. More details for Halo Infinite were shown off this year, and thank God, because I've been looking for an excuse to be disappointed. Like, in the initial reveal, it didn't really look bad, but it looked boring. Like, there wasn't really much other than just standard Halo game, and then it was shown again in E3 2019, and that trailer didn't really change the view on it much. Then there was a rumor going around that it was going to be the most expensive game ever produced, but then that rumor was quickly squashed when screenshots were released shortly after, and it looked like an original 360 game. And that brings us to this, and I still feel the same way. Like, from what gameplay I've seen, it looks so generic. Like, it looks fine, it's Halo, but not much more than that. Not to mention that this game was originally shown off in 2018 and was supposed to be released the same day as the Series X as a launch title, but it got delayed to holiday 2021. At least it kind of shows that they want to wait a little longer so they can give it a little more love and attention. And I guess you're not really supposed to judge a game before you actually play it, but I'm not really getting my hopes up for Infinite, which is kind of sad because I really like and enjoy the Halo franchise, so I hope the delay makes a difference. Diablo 2, not really my thing, but it's probably fine. A Plague Tale Requiem, a sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence. I always thought these games looked neat, but I've never really touched either of them, and this trailer didn't really give me much to work with, so I don't really feel like it's my place to speak on this one. Another Far Cry 6 trailer, even though I'm pretty sure Ubisoft already showed this off in their press conference? Slime Rancher 2, I'm actually pretty excited for this one. The first Slime Rancher game was so fun and unique, not to mention every hair-colored YouTuber was playing it, so a sequel was destined to happen, of course. Alright, so Shredders. First of all, bad logo. I had to stare at this for like 15 seconds to figure out what this said. It doesn't blend in good at all. You would have been much better off without the black white part. But anyways, besides the point for my stupid idiot nitpicky logo complaint, this game looks fun. Automatic Heart, more generic robot killing first person shooters. Nah, but for real, it doesn't look bad, just not interesting. Replaced looks amazing. Like, first of all, look at this art style. Like, how do you make a goofy cartoon motion seem so serious and gloomy? I love the mixture of 2D sprites in a 3D world, it's so epic. Plus, look at how smooth and clean this gameplay is. Like, god damn, I am excited for this one. A game I've never heard of called Grounded got an update. Never heard of this game, but it was a pretty fun trailer. So, Among Us is being added to the Xbox. Okay, I remember when Among Us was popular, and I thought it was a really fun game. I played the absolute shit out of it, and so did everyone else, and it made sense. The gameplay was different and fun, and it was a game you could play with friends during a time you maybe couldn't see your friends as often. Among Us was a game that I think the gaming community needed, and it's something that I really appreciate for that reason. But with that all being said, I really just don't care anymore. Like, this announcement does absolutely nothing for me. Like, I guess it's cool, it's on Xbox, but I don't really think it's helping bring it to new audiences, considering it was like $5 on PC and it's free on mobile, and then later on it was brought to the Switch, and I also feel like playing it on Xbox would be a pain considering that half the game is typing. Like, have you ever tried typing with an Xbox controller? Like, it was already weird on Switch, it's probably worse here. But overall, I guess my stance on this is fine, whatever. It's a bit late for me to really care though. A Yuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, and Yuden Chronicle Rising, another strategy RPG, not my thing. The Ascent, it looks fine. Age of Empires 4, it looks fine, I guess. The Outer Worlds 2 trailer didn't show anything, but they get a pass just because of how self-aware they were about it.
Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
basically like, yeah, we don't have much to show, but yeah, a sequel to Outer Worlds is coming. Alright, cool, a new version of Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to the Xbox. That's pretty cool. And they're adding a Top Gun Maverick expansion. Go you, Microsoft. Fuck yeah, new Forza Horizon. Finally, for this conference, they show off a new original title by Bethesda as an Xbox exclusive called Redfall. They didn't really show much of it, but it looks pretty neat. And that's all for the Xbox conference. And wait a second, I forgot about the mini fridge.
That makes it all worth it.
So overall, the Xbox conference was actually pretty good. I was really hoping they would show off some good stuff this year, because I personally thought Xbox has been kind of lacking the last few years in terms of exclusive games. And I think they knew that, and this year they showed off a lot of Xbox-only games that I'm actually looking forward to, and they look pretty good. And for the first time in a while, I think I can safely say I'm actually excited for the future of Xbox. I think my only concern is the whole them buying Bethesda thing. Like, the fact that you can only play future Bethesda games on Xbox now is a bit of a bummer. Like, that means all Doom games, all Elder Scrolls games, Fallout games, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, Rage, all only on Xbox now. I mean, obviously, that's what happens when a company buys out another company. That's like the whole reason they did it. But from a consumer standpoint, it's just a little disappointing that I have to buy an Xbox if I want to play Bethesda games now. I'm also worried about Bethesda going down the path of Rare, where Microsoft buys them out and the studio just goes down the shitter. But maybe that was just a one-time thing, who knows. But hey, I've complained for years that Xbox didn't have enough exclusives, so I guess the whole Bethesda thing fixes that problem. And even if they didn't, they got a lot of good stuff coming.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Matt Mercer here, and I'm back as your host of Square Enix Presents. Today, we have a special E3 edition of the show for you, with new game announcements, updates, and exciting news from our studios across the globe.
Next up, we have the Square Enix Showcase, opening with the most underwhelming game I've ever seen in my life. Guardians of the Galaxy, a game obviously based on, well, Guardians of the Galaxy. Good God, this game looks bad. The graphics are boring, the voice acting is atrocious, and the gameplay looks slow, like the whole budget went into the licensed music. And they were like, alright, that'll salvage it. It's just super disappointing, because Marvel games can be good. We've seen that in the Spider-Man PlayStation games by Insomniac, but this is just, like Avengers, awful. At least it looks awful. Not to mention, this whole presentation was like 46 minutes, and the first 18 were dedicated to this shitty game. Do you guys know what we call that?
Filler!
Okay, so after that, they show off that the first 6 Final Fantasy games are coming to PC and mobile. Fun. Next, they show off an animated sequence for Legend of Mana to announce it's coming out on Switch, Steam, and PS4. Not Xbox, not PS5, nah, PS4. After that, there's some talk about expansions on the Avengers game. For me to care about DLC, though, it has to be for a game that's actually good. Sorry, Avengers. Hitman Sniper, a mobile game. And no gameplay. Nier Reincarnation, a new Nier game on mobile. Mobile Final Fantasy. What if we made that 2 Final Fantasy mobile games?
Oh, come on!
Hey, finally we get an actual real game, Babylon's Fall. I think it looks fine. It's not bad, but it kind of just looks like a regular boring RPG beat 'em up, and not really much more. 2 collections of Life is Strange, good-ass games, but just slightly remastered versions of an already existing game and not really much more. Yet they spent an ungodly amount of the presentation showing them.
Filler!
And we end things with a new Final Fantasy. I don't really know what to say other than, wow, new Final Fantasy. So overall review of the presentation, that was one of the worst, most boring things I've ever had to sit through. Like, they did not show jack shit this whole time. I think they would have just been better off not being at E3 at all. Like, they had nothing to show. It was embarrassing. Well, that was pretty disappointing, but maybe Capcom can help fill the void. Trailer number 1, Resident Evil 8 DLC in development. Jesus, that was quick. This game, like, just came out. Nothing was shown, it was literally just like, hey, it's coming. Trailer number 2, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Cool, I guess. Not really sure what to say about this one, because I never really fucked around with Monster Hunter. Trailer 3, DLC for Monster Hunter Rise. Same as the last one, don't know anything about it. And finally, a new trailer for the Great Grace Attorney Chronicles, an Ace Attorney spin-off game that we've already known about, and it's coming out in less than a month. But hey, let's spend 7 minutes on it, right? And that's it. That's all they had. A whole half-hour presentation with less than 15 minutes worth of info. The rest of the presentation was just people talking. The only new info was DLC for 3 games, 2 of them being Monster Hunter and a useless trailer for a game we already know is releasing in a couple weeks. For God's sake, Sony and EA, or at least Sony, needs to come back so they can afford to lose companies with nothing to show. Next up, we have Nintendo's press conference, and oh boy do I have high hopes for them. They are my favorite video game company out of all the other ones, and they absolutely killed it in 2019. So I don't find it super outrageous to expect them to be just as good this year. I mean, honestly, they have a couple games that have been announced, but we just don't know shit about them. Just some more of those in some time slots, and I'll be happy, honestly. The only thing that I'm positive is going to happen is a new Smash character. I'm pretty confident about there maybe being a new Switch model, but I'm not certain on it. So let's have a look at what they show off.
Who would have thought?
Okay, so Kayuza from Tekken. I'll take it. I mean, a character from one of the biggest fighting franchises ever? Oh, fuck yeah. It's not like my most anticipated character in the world, but why not? I'm gonna get kind of nitpicky here, but holy fuck, that was kind of a lame way to show him with this trailer. Take the Banjo trailer, for example. There was a build-up, there was suspense, and then it was so hype when it finally revealed him. But with this one, it was just like, hey, look who's carrying Ganondorf. Oh, a Tekken guy. Also, I can't help but feel a little disappointed in the fact that I saw Ganon and thought that would be a Zelda character, only for it to be him. Overall, not my ideal pick, but it's still a good choice, and I'm happy he's here. Next up, they show off how Life is Strange is coming to Switch. Even though I'm pretty sure Square Enix already did. I've never played through the entirety of Life is Strange, but I've liked what I have played, and maybe this is an excuse to finally play through the entire thing. Then after some Switch highlights to show off About Fucking Time, a collection of the first 3 Monkey Ball games remastered in a celebration of its 20th anniversary. Now that is sick. The original Monkey Ball games were the best in the series, and seeing them remastered like this is fantastic. Look at how vibrant and colorful this is. It's amazing. Alright, a new Mario Party. This looks sick as well. The whole idea is to make it a sort of an homage to the older games with 5 boards from the N64 and minigames from the whole series. Honestly, a bit of a bummer there's nothing new, but this still looks pretty fun. Next up we got... oh my god? So, Metroid Dread. This is an interesting one. In short, it was originally conceived as a DS title in 2005, but because of technical limitations, it was cancelled. Then around 2013, they played around with the idea of bringing it to the 3DS, but eventually decided against it, and we never really heard anything from it since until Nintendo showed it here, revealing that it's coming to Switch on October 8th, 2021. I hope it's for real this time. No matter what opinion you have of this game, the fact that it's even coming out at all is a goddamn miracle. Like, this was a game shown all the way back in 2005, canceled twice, and now it's coming out in 2021, a full 16 years later. That's insane. So, to you, Metroid Dread, I say congrats for making it through. But anyway, how does this game look? It looks fucking incredible. That's how it looks. It seems like such a cool return to the old style of Metroid with all the puzzles and mechanics of the older games, the rolling mechanics. Just, it all seems so great. These graphics are pretty clean for a 2D Metroid game. I'm super excited for this one. After some more just smaller highlight announcements, we get, oh my fucking god, it's a new WarioWare game. Let's go. Not to mention they're doing something new and unique to utilize the characters from WarioWare's past. So basically, it's still bite-sized WarioWare minigame fun, but you can pick which character you want for them, and while it's the same minigame, the character's abilities are different and you have to utilize the different abilities to your advantage to solve the game, which is a neat concept. And did I mention the multiplayer? Honestly, really excited for not only a new WarioWare game, but a new unique spin on it as well. Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks alright, but it's a turn-based RPG, and also I've never played a game in this franchise, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it. A collection of all the Danganronpa games. Neato. A sequel to Fatal Frame on Wii U. Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water. I don't really know much about this series other than the first game being one of the few M-rated games on the Wii U, and this is a sequel to it. That's all I really know. Next up, they show an expansion for Doom Eternal on Switch that launched that very day. That was out of the blue. Go them. The Tony Hawk remakes are coming to Switch. Fuck yeah. Love this one. Glad to see it on there. And then there's just either highlights already shown off games or games I have no opinion on. So let's skip over to... For the final bits of this presentation, it is all dedicated to Zelda, so let's see what they have to show off. It starts out by just showing off some more Skyward Sword HD, not really that important considering it comes out like this month, and it's a remaster, so whatever. A Game & Watch system with Zelda 1, 2, Link's Awakening, Vermin with a link head, and of course, time functions. That is cool, and I will 100% buy it to play it once and then let it sit on my shelf for the rest of its life. Shit, I'd buy it for Link's Awakening alone. I love that game. And finally, we got more info on Breath of the Wild 2. Thank God. I have been dying to see more of this game for the past 2 years now, and it looks incredible. They didn't show much, but I love what they did show, and the whole Sky Above Hyrule mechanic sounds really fun. And that's about it for Nintendo, and overall, that's how you do a press conference, damn it! They showed off so many cool, new, and exciting games coming in a nice, respectable time. That wasn't boring or filled with mindless chitter-chatter. They had actual really good shit to show off, and they got straight to the point with it. Amazing job, Nintendo. Good press conference.
And I'm gonna, I'm gonna be horrified because it's gonna be great. It's time, though, for our next presenter. And here, with their 2021 E3 presentation, is Bandai Namco presents House of Ashes.
The last major conference this year was the Bandai Namco conference, and holy shit, they showed absolutely nothing. These guys, like Capcom, had absolutely nothing to show this year. Most of this press conference was just people talking with like 3 or 4 trailers sprinkled in once in a while to fill time. It was like the biggest waste ever. So first off, we got a new trailer for the Elden Ring, showing its release date. I don't really have much to say about it because I still don't know what the gameplay of it really is. But looking at the trailer, A new trailer for Tales of Arise. This game looks fine, but not really my thing. And finally, House of Ashes, a new entry in the Dark Pictures franchise. Didn't really show much gameplay-wise, but it looks alright, I guess. And that's it. A presentation lasting roughly half an hour only had about 7 minutes worth of stuff to show. And not even anything really worth mentioning. Like, literally the only new things they had was House of Ashes and a release date for Elden Ring. Worst conference of E3, by far. So overall impressions of this E3, it was awful. No Sony and no EA, so we have 2 major companies missing, but honestly I find that more respectable than what Bandai or Capcom had, where they just take up space and then show nothing in return. I think this E3 was better than 2019, because in 2019, Nintendo was the only good one, but this year we had Xbox and Nintendo with good press conferences, so I guess it's a win, but overall this E3 was pretty disappointing.
So guys, now that we've ranked most of the E3 2021 press conferences, I think it's also finally time that we rank Shrek on the DS. Honestly, it might not be as good as you remember.